Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of Symphonic Rain. So, let's jump right back in. The girl fidgeted with the pendant hanging from her neck, her eyes gazing at some faraway place. She was always wearing that pendant. It must have been important to her. About what? Um, oops. What were your thoughts after hearing such an utterly flawless performance? I was amazed. It reaffirmed my love for music. I see. For me, it reaffirmed the fact that I still have a long way to go. But, Fal, you're only... I know, but I want to become a professional as soon as I can. You mean right after you graduate? Right. I want to make a living by singing. You can. I'm positive about that. You think? Of course, after all. Stop. That was a cowardly way of putting it. I always knew what you were going to answer. Let me rephrase my question. Go ahead. What is it that I lack? What you lack? I mentioned this before, remember? You didn't deny it back then either. True. If it were just me, it could have been just my imagination, but if we both have the same opinion, that clearly isn't the case. Moreover, Forney had felt it as well, which was more than enough to convince me. I suppose you wouldn't know. I'm sorry. That's okay. Even so, it's the very reason I want to perform with you, Chris. Let's work hard together from now on, okay? Yeah, let's. From now on. Did she mean until our graduation recital? Or beyond that? I smiled ambiguously and averted my eyes in an attempt to hide my embarrassment. Well then, since we're here anyway, let's rehearse for a bit. I figured you'd say that. I'll be ready in a sec. I'll do some vocal exercises in the meantime. We positioned ourselves in the same setup as we would at the actual performance. I played the first note for her, to which she began humming. The stage was brightly illuminated, the spectator seats shrouded in darkness. The girl glanced my way, and the moment we were in sync, music began to flow forth. Her voice was crystal clear. Sitting right next to her, I could hear it quite clearly. At every turning juncture in the piece, we would look each other in the eye, perfecting our timing before moving on to the next phrase. During a pianissimo, she would slightly hunch her body, and I would respond by slowing down the movement of my fingers. We were capable of performing all the things necessary for a duet without a conductor. Unlike earlier today, when I was a spectator, I was engulfed by a strong sense of unity. Whew. You look satisfied. Yeah, because I am. Perhaps she'd started to panic. The girl must have realized she was lacking something a long time ago and had to have been desperately training in an attempt to plug the gap. She must have gone to great pains to try and figure it out by herself. Although, naturally, this was just my personal conjecture. However, if I was able to share even a sliver of her pain through performing with her and assist her in finding what she was looking for, then that was all I could ever wish for. Thanks. No need, really. You should keep your words of gratitude for when we finish our graduation recital with success. So far, there hasn't been much ground for her to be thankful to me. If anything, I should have been the one thanking her. A long time ago, when I loved music, even more than I do now, I didn't just enjoy making it, but had the burning desire to become a better performer. Those sentiments were now rekindled. I suppose it's about time to go. Oops! The large clock on the wall told us it was well past 8 o'clock. This might be bad. But if you're here, I figure we can get away with it somehow. Sorry, we might get yelled at. What? I'd said I would be back before 8. To an instructor? A security guard, and that on Natalie. Then let's hurry. Sorry, you might get yelled at as well. Ah, well, if we can lighten the pain by sharing it, then all the better. Thank goodness he wasn't that angry. This school seems like a different place when I'm with you. How so? I've been scolded by that guard in the past. If I remember correctly, I came to pick up something I forgot with Asino. He discovered us and gave us hell. Wouldn't it have been better to get his consent beforehand? We tried. He didn't give it, so we ended up sneaking in. He seems like a nice guy, though. To you, maybe. What's that supposed to mean? It was a compliment. Sure didn't sound like that to me. Then you should revise that thought into thinking that it did. Jeez. Oh, by the way, aren't you hungry? Huh? Now that you mention it, I was getting quite hungry indeed. I hadn't had time to have breakfast this morning, of course. Want to have something to eat at home? I've already prepared something. You prepared something? Lasagna, Coper style. All that's left is to put it in the oven. I'd had it twice before, so I could almost already taste it in my mouth. It served to strengthen my hunger tenfold. Seeing as you already made it, I couldn't refuse the offer. I made a lot, so don't be afraid to ask for seconds. Aw, she is so sweet. She is literally me, though, just, constantly feeding people. The night of Nautilus wasn't silent, but quiet nonetheless. Apparently, Fal would go home tomorrow and return by night train on the morning of the day before the first day of classes. And she herself had offered to spend that day practicing. Since I had nothing else to do, I couldn't refuse. Be sure to practice while I'm gone, okay? I will. Anyway, it's late, and it's cold. You should go back inside. Will you? Really? I would hope so. Right back at you. Then again, it wouldn't sound very convincing coming from me. Don't worry about me. I know. Well, never mind that. You'll come pick me up at the station, right? At 2:00? Leave it to me. Please, I'd like to get my senses back as soon as possible. Roger. See you then. See you. Dear Chris, is it still raining over there? Here, it has been sunny, as usual. Today was Natalie for you. Did you go to church to pray? Up until last year, we had been able to go together, but now that I'm not there, I am a bit worried. Knowing you, you probably didn't go in the morning. Perhaps you went around noon. I will be going at around the same time, so I hope our prayers manage to reach each other. This will be the last letter of the year. But then, next year's letter will arrive soon enough. Lately, I have been unable to stop thinking about the moment of our reunion. Wondering whether you have changed since we didn't see each other this year. Wondering whether you have become a better musician now that you have studied at a musical institute for years. I want to hear you play the fortel again. I want to hear you play so badly it is making me cry. Come to think of it, did you pick someone other than Torta for the graduation recital? I did not expect that, but if it was your own decision, then I believe it to be for the best. Since we are living so far apart, a lot of things may have changed by the time this letter reaches you, but even so, there is one thing I am convinced of. Chris, you should do whatever you feel is right, no matter what that may be. I am me, and you are you. Chris, If you will walk the path you have laid out for yourself, then no matter the outcome, I will accept it. So you should never lose your way. Think about what I have said. Chris, do whatever you feel is right. This is my one and only true desire from you. Well then, see you next year, Arietta. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, my heart. 26th of December. I awoke naturally into a calm morning. The chilly air of the deathly silent room grazed across my face. There was something I had to do right after waking up. I had to write my reply letter to Ari. If I sent it this morning, it would still arrive there at the usual time. That way, it wouldn't cause her needless worry, and it would cheer me up quickly. But I couldn't help but realize that these thoughts showed my true colors. Basically, they proved two things. That I was doing something that would only cause her to worry, and that I was feeling depressed over it. You should do whatever you feel is right. Ari did write that in her letter. No matter what that may be. I wondered if Arietta had already noticed. Or perhaps Tortanita had been the one to find out. Either way, the result would be the same. Torta was going to keep reporting what was going on with me to Ari. I didn't feel inclined to stop her. There were matters that wouldn't get through to her by means of my letters alone. Whether they contradicted truth, or whether it was just Torta jumping to conclusions, it was the only source of information Ari had. Without those two exchanges, she would be completely in the dark about me. That was why I was obligated to write a reply to let her know a little bit more about me, to let her learn a little bit more about the truth. What kind of face is that to be making this early in the morning? Good morning. Good morning. How about an answer to my question? I wouldn't know. Haven't looked in the mirror. Forney glided down next to my pillow and rolled her eyes at me. What about the letter? You haven't written it yet, have you? I'll do that now. And after that? After that? I haven't thought about it yet. It's a holiday, so I figure I'll just take it easy. What? You're terrible, Chris. Why? I didn't get to sing yesterday. You came home late, said you were tired, and went straight to bed. I was waiting all day, you know. Sorry. Don't apologize. Isn't there something else you should say? Like what? Are you still sleeping? Maybe. I'm not sure what you're getting at here. What? Acting all surprised isn't going to clue me in. Let me sing! Oh, is that all? Is that all? It might not mean anything to you, but... Sorry. I just mean that if that's all, then sure, let's play. Really? Are you doubting me? 'Cause normally we always do it on Sunday evenings. Yesterday was the first time we didn't. Forney, I'm sorry. For no reason in particular, I was reminded of Ari. Forney only had me right now. All she could do by herself was gaze out the window or sing. For everything else, she was dependent on me. She could sing along because I played the foretell for her, and she was able to go outside because I brought her along. I think I may have undervalued how important these things really were to her. Sorry, let's play all through the day. Huh? Really? We could start right after I finish the letter. I don't have anyone to practice with right now anyway. If you did, you would ignore me? No, I'd still play with you, honest. Very well then. Thanks. What's with the serious face? Would you rather I say it with a non-serious face? No. Well, never mind. I'll be done in a second, so please wait for a bit. Okay. Feels like I haven't done this in ages. Do I detect a trace of spite there? It's only been a day longer than usual. Yeah, I'm being spiteful because you totally forgot about me. All right already, I'm starting, okay? Okay! Since I've been focusing on a different piece lately, I had expected my skills to have relapsed, but to my own surprise, my fingers moved smoothly, and the first notes sounded wonderful. As usual, Forney used her whole body to absorb herself in the tones, before absorbing herself even further by singing the first verses. Despite her small frame, she produced a volume not unlike that of a regular human being, with notes so clear as it was though they penetrated my eardrums. Her wings were flapping loosely to the rhythm. She was one with the music, her song appearing to manifest from inside her. It didn't feel like this when performing with FAL. There was something unique to it, something unlike anything I had ever heard before. I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was that made it different. It'd be easily deduced that it was because Forney wasn't human, but I was convinced it wasn't anything FAL wouldn't be capable of. Ah! What's wrong? Chris, your thoughts are elsewhere right now, aren't they? My body and thought process were still in disarray due to her suddenly stopping. What? It went really well, and then you suddenly started playing false notes. I was? You were thinking about something else, weren't you? Well, it happens. Ugh, I'm getting tired of this. I'm sorry. Upon hearing me apologize, Forney didn't get angry, but instead timidly murmured, Don't apologize. Why not? Can't you see I'm just being selfish? What are you talking about? Just... Forney? Putting as much kindness into my voice as I could, I continued. Idiot. What? I said you were an idiot. I spontaneously broke a smile. I then gently flicked her on the forehead, bringing her to totter on her feet. You're the idiot! Yeah, you're right. Take it back! I won't. Idiot! Yeah, idiot. That was directed at me, wasn't it? No, it was directed at the both of us. Anyway, let's forget about it. Let's try again. I won't let my mind wander this time. Really? Yeah, I promise. Okay then, I guess. Thanks. I stroked her restlessly flapping wings with my finger and turned back toward my foretell. The few days until the new year would normally pass by rather quietly. After spending Natale with Ari, I would stay home and relax, not participating in the New Year's festivities outside. But this year might become a bit more eventful. Here I was, listening to the Tiny Fairy song in what might have been our last few months together, all the while playing my beloved foretell. And of course, teaching Forney the graduation piece and rehearsing it. It had been a while since I'd been able to get my mind off of things for an extended period of time. In a place completely cut off from the outside world, time was crawling along at a leisurely pace. As I played the music I loved, with a sprite of song the world knew nothing of. So the 1st of January. Without thinking much of it, I awoke into a new year. Since I had no need to go out, I turned over in my bed again, only to encounter Forney standing next to my pillow. Good morning! Morning. What day is it today, I wonder? New Year's adventure. Good night. Exactly! Today's the first day of the... Hey! I'm still sleepy. I had managed to catch a glimpse of the clock before I closed my eyes again. It was still before noon. Although I wasn't so sleepy as to be unable to get up, I had little reason to. You'll get it later. I'm scared already. At least open your eyes. Why? Look people in the eye when talking to them. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!